Sometimes I rhyme slow, sometimes I rhyme quick.
All right, everybody. What is today? It's Thursday night. I'm in front of a camera, so you know what that means. It is time for the one and only Lady of the Spice, Regina DeCicco.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, DJ Mickey D. Thank you. Oh, you guys look great. It's so funny. Mickey and I were saying before, we haven't done this in a while. And as much as you think it's all going to come right back to you when you go virtual, you get completely confused. I was sitting here rocking out, being like, should the show be starting? Should I go? I'm like, let me text. I'm dancing with Tanisha over here, even though you couldn't tell I was, but I was singing along and I was like, do we get this started? I don't know what's going on. It's so crazy to be sort of back in this in between, right? We're in the upside down. That's what this is. It feels like it's like we're sort of back. We're not exactly back. I don't know where to do everything I do. The setup I have for my camera the first time around when we were at home and it was virtual, very professional. Now there's like a stick, an iPad. My light is resting on a stuffed animal. Sometimes it all falls. Nothing I'm doing now makes sense. This is really like, I went from being like, I'm the most professional person ever to be like, I'm going to use some gum, stick this phone to the wall, and we're just going to do it. And then we're just going to do it. So I'm trying to get back, but I think I'm doing better this time, guys. I think this time around for this little bit of, quarantine, I feel like I'm doing better. You know what I mean? I'm doing like one glass of wine a day, just so everybody knows. That's what, exactly, guys. Listen, there's no judgment, but I'm letting myself, I'm like, one is okay. You can just do one glass, not bottle. One. Is there a bottle? Sometimes there is. But again, I know this is a group that doesn't judge. And I know I'm feeling better this time because I can watch true crime shows again. Just so you guys know, there was a time I love a true crime, right? I'm like, I have to solve all the murders. That's usually how I am. But when the pandemic came around the first time, I didn't have it in me. I was like, someone else has to solve these murders. But I'm back in business, everybody. I'm going to solve every murder on Netflix that needs to be solved. And I don't know if this happens to you guys. You start watching those and it gets crazy because you start thinking about yourself or what you would do. And sometimes I think of weird ways I could help. And I know this is a terrible idea. Whenever a murderer gets caught because they find like their footprint, right? They're like, oh my God, a size 12. We checked out the bottom of the shoe. Sometimes I'm like, what if they just made special shoes? Like, what if there were murder shoes that were just smooth on the bottom and then you couldn't find them? Right? Like, should someone make murder shoes? And then I'm like, Regina, that's a terrible idea. But then I'm like, maybe it's not a terrible idea to make murder shoes. Because if they were like, buddy, we think you might have killed that guy. And you're like, no, I didn't. And they're like, bro, you bought murder shoes. Like, then there's a way. Maybe it's a way. It seems like we're helping them, but we're catching them. Guys, let me know after if this is something we should start. If you guys think we should make murder shoes, it's an idea I've been thinking about. I've never wanted to say it out loud. It's embarrassing and maybe terrifying. Don't cover your face, Sean. There could be something we need a side hustle, guys. Maybe it's murder shoes. But it's a good thing because then we know how to find the murderers. That's just what I think. But yeah, no, I watch so much stuff and then it's like I just know I couldn't do it. One, I would get caught immediately. Like if I was dragging a body, then someone would be like, "Oh my God, we heard somebody talking. It might have been Harvey Firestein. Like we're not sure they were dragging a body." And they'd be like, "Boom, it's Regina DeCicco." Done. I'd be done. I've also watched enough prison shows. Do you guys do this when you try to think you're like, all right, if I was in prison, could I handle it? No. One, because I'm a people pleaser. Do you know what I mean? I would literally be like, oh my God, you want a tater tot? Have some tater tots. And then bam, shanked. You can't give out your tater tots. I've watched enough prison shows to know that's how you show your weakness, right? And also, guys, there's no class clowns in prison. That's just what I think. Like, no one comes out of prison being like, I met the funniest guy in there. No, like funny people, I wouldn't make it. Because that's why I watch so much murder that my husband gets nervous, for real. He gets nervous. And I'm like, John, you have nothing to worry about. I'd get caught in a second and I wouldn't last on the inside. I don't know if anybody else thinks about this stuff, like if they would make it up, but I would like not be able to play by any of the rules. No one would respect. Guys, this is stuff that I spend my time thinking about. And now we've got time because like we said, we're home again trying to figure it out. I'm wearing my show slippers once more. No more outside shoes. Everybody also coming out of this whole thing, there was a time where I would never go outside dressed a certain way. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, I have to be a little put together. We're all so broken now. I will legit go out in my pajamas and not care. I will not care if my pants clash with my jacket. I will not care if my hair is just like, I don't care. And that worries me. Like sometimes I used to do laundry that way. I honestly, right? like, because we have laundry in the basement, I would do laundry, and I get it. I would look a little crazy, right? But now I'll go outside that way, and I don't. And I know people that live in this building, guys. There's other comedians that live in this building. I feel like I'm like, how you doing, buddy? What am I wearing? I don't know. 10 million things that don't match. It's like, I don't know what it is, but when I do dress like that to do laundry, whenever I'm dressed like that, my husband will always be like, "Oh my god, you look like an asshole," right? But he's doing it from Pulp Fiction. Remember in Pulp Fiction when he says it, when Quentin Tarantino says it, right? Exactly. Yes, Drea, you know. Drea, you know. When Quentin Tarantino says it, obviously, so he's saying like you look like an asshole. So when my husband says to me, it's like fine because I'm like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I took an elevator with two people the other day and I was like, oh my God, you guys are doing laundry? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, whenever I'm doing laundry, my husband always says, you look like an asshole. And then I was like, but you guys don't look like assholes. You guys look great. And then I'm like, wait, how far do I go? Am I supposed to be like, you remember the movie? I was just like, well, this is weird. And they're going to the basement. So I have to take the whole trip with them. I mean, I'd be like, no, not a bad asshole. Just like in the movie. No? Okay, good. And that's when you're happy you have a mask on because you can sort of cover yourself up. And we have our masks on all the time. And I'm a sunglass person. So outside I have on masks and sunglasses, which means you see nothing. But I'm a very animated person. I'm always like smiling at people. And then I just feel crazy all the time, guys. Outside, right? Look at Jennifer's like, yes, right? Because I'm like, I feel like when Forrest Gump does that wave, like that's how I feel I am all the time. I'm like, why is everyone ignoring me? I'm smiling at everyone. And then I'm like, oh, wait, nobody knows, Regina. Thank you. Julie is waving at me now, and I appreciate it. But outside, I'm literally like, I'm smiling. I'm trying to make eye contact. Like even when you bump into somebody and then I'll smile and I realize they can't see me smiling because I have a mask on a face. So I'm like, what do I look like? I'm going to hit them? Like I bump into you and you look up at me and I'm just like fully covered. Terrifying. There's some stuff there where it's like, guys, I don't know. Some of it's just not getting better. But yeah, I got the old homemade setup. Literally, when we checked out before, Mickey is like, what are you using? How are you set up to do this spice? I was like, Mickey, I don't know what's going on. Literally, I've done the view twice. The iPad just gives up. I'm on my phone. Guys, I mean, there's just so much. I'm like, we need help. We got to get back. But everybody looks good here. Everybody looks good. I like it. It's good to see Tanisha not at work, which is nice. It's good to see you not at work, Tanisha, over there. Drea is full on working over here, and I love it. Drea, you look like it's business. I would love if Drea was just like playing Candy Crush or Wordle or whatever the kids are doing. How does that keep happening that like there's all of a sudden there's a game and you're like, I don't care about it. And then everyone's doing it and you're like, I need to know what it is now. How do we get FOMO? We're adults. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, everyone's playing a game. Like, I don't know about the game. I want to be like, yeah, I got 2 out of 3 or 4 or 3 rows or whatever green squares are. And they post it. I don't know what any of it means. Am I supposed to be proud of you? It's so annoying. It's always something else. And then it's like everyone I know is doing Wordle. Like the smartest people I know, maybe the not as smart people I know. You know what I'm like, oh, is it for everyone or is it not? Is it a challenge? Am I supposed to do it? And I won't do it on spite. I'm that person. If you tell me to do it, I won't do it. If you tell me to watch a show, I'm not about to. No, I got to watch it on my time. Don't come to me with what you think I need to do because I won't. That's what I do, guys. I'm very like, oh no, this is who I am. Do not push me to watch your hilarious show because I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to like it on spite. I won't even laugh out loud. I'm like, okay, maybe for you and maybe for the rest of America, but not for me. I like what I like. You can't push me, you guys. You can't push me. But I guys, I am super excited. I'm super excited about the spice tonight because for the first time ever, DJ Mickey D, right? It's going to be talking about DJ. It's going to be crazy because you guys, I'm going to tell you this real quick DJ Mickey D, way before The View, when I was getting married, I was talking to our wedding planner and I was like, we want a DJ. We need a good DJ. And she was like, I have this guy. So we started emailing. The dates didn't work out. It didn't happen. So I show up at The View and then me and Mickey are looking at each other and we're like, do we know each other? And I'm like, did I email you? And I knew it was Mickey. We never met in person, but she sent me videos of Mickey DJing. So all of a sudden, like a weird stalker, I'm like, is that you? Is that you? And it was. So it was literally like when me and Mickey met, we realized years before, like maybe 4 years before, we'd actually like connected. So, and I knew then Mickey's videos were amazing. I was bummed it didn't work out, which is why I'm so excited tonight to find out more. So